Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. We are continuing on with my top 10 favorite movies of all time. This one is coming in at number 6. It is just an emotional, just well-made movie. Everything about this is just fantastic, from the casting to the direction of the movie, the writing. Everything about it is just heart-wrenching, emotional, and just so good. And it deals with a topic that I am absolutely passionate about. If you've watched my channel, you know how passionate I am about professional wrestling. And I think this movie does a really good job in capturing what it's like to be a wrestler in this day and age. It was heralded as the comeback of Mickey Rourke, although I think that was actually Sin City, but we'll talk about that another time. Coming in at number 6 on my all-time favorite movies list, The Wrestler. The Wrestler was released worldwide in December of 2018 and is directed by Darren Aronofsky with a script by Robert Siegel. It was also produced by Darren Aronofsky and Scott Franklin. Small cast, but an amazing cast, like when you're talking about the main characters in this movie. Mickey Rourke stars as Randy the Ram Robinson. Marissa Tomei gives an excellent performance in her role, and Evan Rachel Wood stars as Randy's daughter. Cinematography was done by Maurice Albetti, edited by Andrew Weisblum, and music by Clint Marshall. Produced by Wild Bunch and Protozoa Pictures, distributed by Fox Searchlight. It had a meager budget of $6 million, but it made $44.7 million at the box office, totally making all of its money back. In the movie, Mickey Rourke plays an aging professional wrestler who, despite his failing health and waning fame, continues to wrestle in an attempt to cling to the success of his 1980s heyday. He also tries to mend his relationship with his estranged daughter and to find romance with a woman who works as a stripper. Such an amazing story. The film received critical acclaim and won the Golden Lion Award at the 65th Venice International Film Festival. It first premiered there on September 5th of 2008. The late Roger Ebert called it one of the year's best films, and I agree with him wholeheartedly on that one. Rotten Tomatoes reported that 98% of critics gave the film positive reviews, certifying it fresh, of course. The success of the film revitalized Mickey Rourke's career. Again, I say it was Sin City, but that's neither here nor there. He went on to receive a BAFTA Award, a Golden Globe Award, an Independent Spirit Award, and an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Marissa Tomei also received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. When we're looking at other things within, because this had a lot of eyes on it from the professional wrestling community itself. It even says in the Wikipedia article, prominent wrestling figures have commented on the film. During an NPR interview, Aronofsky remarked that WWE Chairman Vince McMahon's feelings on The Wrestler were that he saw the film and called both him and Mickey Rourke and was really touched by it. At that point, it happened a week ago. We were very nervous, wondering what he would think, but he really felt the film was special, having his support meant a lot to us, especially Mickey Rourke. Now, I've heard different, that Vince McMahon has actually changed his opinion about the movie, not for the better. Former WWF champion Bret Hart enjoyed The Wrestler and applauded Rourke's clairvoyant performance, but called the film a dark misinterpretation of the business. He asserted Randy the Ram Robinson was a main eventer who sold out Madison Square Garden. So was I, although the film speaks superbly to the speed bumps all pro wrestlers navigate. I'm happy to report that most of us didn't swerve off the road quite severely. That's true. Some didn't, some did. Unfortunately, they portrayed Randy as one of the ones who did. Former WWE play-by-play commentator, current AEW commentator Jim Ross called it a really strong, dramatic film that depicts how people who are obsessed with their own lives and their careers can self-destruct. You see that in the movie. and former WWE and TNA champion Mick Foley, one of the greatest men alive, if you ask me, enjoyed the film, saying that within 5 minutes, I had completely forgotten I was looking at Mickey Rourke. That guy on the screen simply was Randy the Ram Robinson. The late Rowdy Piper was said to have been highly emotional after watching the screening of the film. Aronofsky said of Piper, he loved it. He broke down and cried in Mickey's arms. So he was psyched that the story was finally told. What more can I say than that? So why did I love The Wrestler? Well, first and foremost, the realism behind it. It wasn't this big flashy production. It showed Randy the Ram Robinson as this broken down wrestler who we've heard about wrestlers like that before. You take a look at guys like Jake the Snake Roberts. I hate to mention him right now, but the late Scott Hall. You look at all these tragedies that have happened within professional wrestling, and you just see this on the screen. Like, I think there's merit into what Bret Hart said, but I also think there's a lot of realism behind everything in this movie. One of my favorite parts, it's a sad part, it's a heartbreaking part, but it comes after Randy has a match with Necro Butcher, who's playing himself in the movie, a hardcore match for CZW, and he's never done hardcore matches before in his life, and here he is in the ring getting staples in both pectoral muscles, getting a dollar bill stapled to his head. No, that was Necro Butcher who did that. Being put through panes of glass, being put through barbed wire. Like, this is stuff that's commonplace for me in professional wrestling, but for someone like Randy the Ram, who had his heyday in the 80s, and he's still, like I said, still clinging on to that past glory, he's new to this. So after that, after getting checked out by the doctor, he has a heart attack and is forced to retire for a little while, but that's something else we'll get to at another time. But yeah, the realism behind this movie is just fantastic. I love Darren Aronofsky's direction in this movie. I love the acting in this movie. Oh, Mickey Rourke and Marissa Tomei just have this, I feel they have this great chemistry. And if you disagree, let me know. But I feel they have a great chemistry together. I think Mickey Rourke and Evan Rachel Wood have a fantastic chemistry together as a father and his estranged daughter, because you see them initially butt heads, and then you see them just like that, and then one major misstep in Randy's life, and he loses it all with his daughter. And it's just so, I keep coming back to it, but so real. It is heart-wrenching and beautiful and just tough. Like, not, it's not a tough movie to watch in that aspect. Like, you can get through it, but there's just so many just heart-wrenching moments in this movie, especially when Randy is having his heart-to-heart with his daughter. I believe her name's Stephanie. I remember he's gonna get her a shirt with or a jacket with an S on it. He says it's for Stephanie. So he's having this big heart-to-heart with Stephanie. You just see the tears coming down his face, and it's just moving. And then when he decides to have one last big match, that's... So is there anything I didn't like about The Wrestler? Well, anything I say would be a nitpick because I love this movie so much. But like I said, I do think Bret Hart had some merit in what he said. It can get a little too real at times. And the ending is just left so ambiguous. You don't know exactly what happened to Randy at the end of the movie. Like, I know that with the release of the movie, Bruce Springsteen also released a song, excellent song called The Wrestler, titled after the movie. Why it isn't on The Wrestler's soundtrack is beyond me, but it's on one of his albums. But it makes it seem that Bruce is Randy and he's still alive, but I don't know. With that ending, it's kind of left up to however you want to see it. I kind of, at first I kind of like that, but looking back on it now, I would have liked to see a more decisive ending. Maybe that's just me. If you thought the ending was perfect, that's great. You know, that awesome. I'm That's really great. I would have liked something a little more decisive, but I mean, other than that, the film is fantastic from start to finish. You really get this sense of his lack of belonging, wanting to belong somewhere, wanting to be someone again, just trying to hold on to that last gasp of fame that he felt was leaving him. Because when you meet Randy, he's living out of his van practically. He's evicted from his trailer home. He's living out of his van. He doesn't have the life that most of the wrestlers have these days. Like if you look at guys like I said, Jake the Snake Roberts, Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan, they all had various things happen to them in their lives to just make them lose their fortune. Whether it be failed marriages, drugs, alcohol, whatever. Like with Jake the Snake Roberts, that's 3 of them right there. Failed marriage, a couple failed marriages, alcohol, drug abuse. It's just, you see that so often with wrestlers of our day, and it's just, wow, I'm getting really emotional about this. But you do hear the stories of the ones who were really smart about their money, like Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Mick Foley. They were smart about things. They didn't just go out, get drunk, do drugs, bang rats, using an insider term, sorry guys. They didn't do that stuff. Like, I mean, Bret Hart still has been divorced twice, but I think he's still on good terms with both of his ex-wives. So, and Mick Foley and Colette Foley are still married to this very day. Unfortunately, if you're a wrestling fan, you know the tragic fate of Owen Hart, but his widow Martha is still very devoted to him, and God bless her. I'm gonna say that now. Any flack that Martha Hart gets, she doesn't deserve after watching the Owen Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah, she doesn't deserve any of the flack that comes her way. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the wrestler. Yeah. It can get a little too real, but sometimes it works to its advantage, and it's a movie I feel that even if you're not a wrestling fan, you can enjoy, because there is a great story behind it. There's a great underdog story to it, like Rocky. Like, even if you don't like boxing, there's something about Rocky that you can enjoy. Even if you don't like wrestling, there's something about the wrestler you can enjoy. And does it heighten my enjoyment of it being a professional wrestling fan? Maybe. Maybe I'm biased because of my passion for professional wrestling. I don't know. I just think The Wrestler is a damn good movie, and more people should watch it. I highly, highly recommend The Wrestler to everybody, anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a wrestling fan or a non-wrestling fan. I think there's something from this movie that you will absolutely enjoy, and that is why it is number 6 on my top 10 all-time favorite movies. But what did you think of The Wrestler? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd really love to hear. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. In the description, you can see a link to all of my social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, my Redbubble store, where you can pick up all your Irish Bandit merchandise. Anything you want is at the Irish Bandit shop. Don't forget to check it out. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a new video goes live. This coming Thursday, we are into the top 5, my 5 all-time favorite movies. We talked about the first movie in this franchise a few entries ago. We're going to get to what I think is the perfect superhero movie. We're going to talk about that on Thursday. Just an amazing movie all around. And like I said, I think the near perfect, we'll say that, near perfect superhero movie. So be sure to join me for that on Thursday. Guys, I'm the Bandit, and I'll talk to you again very soon.